Good morning, and welcome. I am your host, Roslyn Long of Dear Life After. I am so glad you chose to join us on today. You could be doing so many other things on today, but you took the time to join us. And so we're so glad that you did. But listen, you still have time to do what? Tag a friend, tweet a friend, text a friend, and tell somebody to come on over and join us on today. I'm so excited to be here. I missed y'all on last week, but I hope you were able to tune in and catch some snippets. But nevertheless, today, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about love. Love. Love is in the air. February is the month that we talk about love, and the heart is Heart Month. So we're going to talk about love on today. Aren't you excited? Yes, I'm excited because love means so many different things to different people. But what does it mean to you? What does love mean to you? When you say love, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you talk about love? We're going to give some people a chance to go ahead and log on. Like I said, tag a friend, tweet a friend, text a friend, and tell them to join us on today. We won't be with you very long, just long enough to tell you about love. Love, love. What does love mean to you? When I think of love, I think about love is an action word. Love is in what you do and not what you say. People so often talk about love languages. Love. But let's go to them. What does the Bible say about love? It says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. Listen. So we're just going to kind of hone in on love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So when you think about relationships, so whether that's in your family, with your siblings, with your parents, with your aunts, your uncles, with your friends, in your relationships, are you always protecting, trusting, and hoping? Because so often when things are not going as we would desire them to go, sometimes people retreat. And you're saying, what do I mean by that? So sometimes people pull back because things are not going as they want them to go. So they pull back. And is that protecting? Is that hope? Because when you love and you're in a relationship, you should pull together. That should make you stronger. That's when you should bind together in unity. When there's discord, that would be hope. That would be the trust. That would be protecting, not retreating because things are not going as you desire them to go. It says love never fails. Love never fails. So when you think of an unfailing love, automatically I think of Christ because Christ gave the example of love. He gave his only son. He gave his only son because he loved us. So how are you loving others? Are you loving people with conditions? Are there stipulations on when you love? Because is that true love? Is that true love? How are you loving? I would like for you to put in the chat, how are you loving? What do you think about when you think about love? Are you showing that love to other people? Or are we being judgmental? Are we retreating? Ask yourself those questions. I want you to ponder on that. This is the month of love, and it talks of in Heart Month. People think about Valentine's Day and they talk about the heart. Well, we do know that everything starts with what is in your heart. Do you have the heart of Christ? Do a self check. Check your heart. Do you have the heart of Christ? Are you loving on others? Because it clearly tells us love does not keep record of wrongs. So if someone has done something to you, are you keeping track of that? Because that's not what love is. Because we have to remember that forgiveness is for who? It's for us, because it releases us. How are you loving in your relationships? How are you loving with your spouse? Because things aren't going the way you want it to go. Are you retreating? Are you being angry? Because love doesn't anger. Love doesn't boast. So when we read this scripture, does it actually make you think about those things? Does it make you self-reflect and ask yourself exactly how are you loving? Because every time I read those words, it makes me think. It makes me check myself. It makes me check myself to think about if that is what I'm doing. Am I actually loving on others? It's so important that we love on each other. So often we get caught up in what we have going on, and we have to extend grace because we don't know what the next person is dealing with. She says, love is unconditional with no strings attached. Love is to have compassion for others because Jesus Christ has compassion for us. I love you as I love myself. And I love you too, Sister Stansberry. Yes, it is. It's unconditional with no strings. Love doesn't have stipulations on it. There's nothing attached. Just imagine if there were strings attached to Christ loving us. Oh boy, we'd be in trouble. I know I'd be in trouble. Let's say that. I know I would be in trouble if there were strings attached. Because I know that there are days that I am not the best version of me. I'm not the best version of me. And that is absolutely correct. We have to love, before we can love others, we must learn to love ourselves. So that's the other question. So, do you love you? Do you love you on today? I mean, that's an enormous self-check. Do you love you? I'm going to let you think about that for a minute, because somebody might not love themselves, and they might not even realize that they don't love themselves. We go through life being busy because life is lifing. And so we forget, sometimes we don't take the time to stop and do the things that are most important. Spending time with our Creator and loving on ourselves. So, have you taken the time to stop? Do you have to, in any type of relationship, you have to cultivate that relationship. So, with your spouse, you see people talking about date night. And I'm spending time with my boo. Well, are you spending time with who created your boo? Because there would be no boo if it wasn't for Christ. So these are the questions that I want you to ask yourself when you think about love. How are you loving? How is your heart? Do you have the heart of Christ for others? Or is it all about you? Have you caught yourself being selfish? When is the last time you spent time with your first love, Jesus? Do you make him a part of your day? Do you think about him, not just when you're wanting something or needing something from him, but do you just sit in awe of how marvelous he is? He is love. When you look out, I know today is a beautiful, beautiful day. And as I sat in my living room and I sat out and I looked out at the sky and the sun, and I just thought, oh my goodness, what a marvelous thing he has created. I just sat in awe of all the things that he's created. He didn't just create the skies, the moon, the stars, the sun. He created me. He says that I was created in his image. And so when I think about I was created in his image, I stick my chest out and I start smiling because I'm like, look at her. What? So you might not think I'm all of that, but I'm all of that because he created me and I belong to him. So how can I not love me? Because he did this. He did this. So yes. So I smile because I am overjoyed because I know that I belong to him. So the rest of it, everything will fall in place because I'm his. So do you just sit in awe of him? In awe that he loved you enough, that he created you in his image, that his life was given, that his life was given for you, for me, so that we could be here and show others what he's done in our lives. She says, even when others don't love you, you still have to love them. That's why Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That's love. Absolutely. We have to love on each other because you never know who you're entertaining. You never know what a difference that's going to make in somebody else's life. Someone might have been contemplating taking their life, and because you smiled and said good morning or how are you today, that made a difference in their life. We are called to be what? Change makers. Because we're supposed to make a difference. We're supposed to change things. With the love of Christ in our hearts, when we enter the room, the atmosphere should change. Because that love should fill that room. They should know. They'll know something is different. So, what do you think about love? But when you self-reflect, how are you loving? Are you just loving when you're at church on Sunday? And then when you leave, you raising holy hell? Think about it. Because even if you don't tell me, he knows. He knows. Ask yourself, am I masking up on Sunday? When I show up on Sunday, I'm, hey, good morning. And then when I leave, I'm somebody else. I'm gossiping, backbiting, and doing everything under the sun. It doesn't matter if I know. It's not important that I know. But self-reflect and ask yourself, are you displaying the love of Christ? That's what's important. What is in your heart? Do you need a heart transplant because you're not exhibiting the love of Christ? Because our heart is our center of our being. If our heart's not pumping, we're not here. So what is pumping through yours? Is love, compassion for others. Is that pumping through yours? Because you can't have envy and jealousy and hatred and those things pumping through your heart. Because it clearly tells us in the word, love does not envy. It does not boast. Love doesn't keep record of wrongs. So ask yourself these things. Because I ask myself, because before I ask you, I have to check myself. Because it's easy to get off track. So that's why we have to set aside time to spend with our first love. Because even when you're going through and you think nobody else loves you and nobody else cares, He does. He loves us in all our ugly mess. I know I've done some things in life that I'm not proud of. But through all of those things, all of those bad decisions that I made, He still loved me. He didn't throw me away. He didn't throw me away. So just know that don't think that you've done something so bad because there's nothing that you could do so bad that Jesus won't love you. So maybe you're feeling like you've done something, you're embarrassed, you're ashamed. He loves you. He loves you in spite of what it is. Talk to Him. He'll tell you that He loves you. He loves us all. He doesn't love me any more than He loves you. He loves us all the same. That's what's so amazing about it. And He can be with you and me all at the same time because that's how awesome He is. So don't think that you got to wait to talk to Him. He's never too busy. He's never too busy. He wants to hear from you. He's waiting on you. He's waiting on you. Whatever it is that you think you've done, surrender to Him. Ask Him to come into your heart. He's just waiting on you. He's waiting on you to show you that He loves you. And there's nothing like the love of Jesus. When you think that your family, your friends have turned their back on you, Jesus is right there. You might be thinking you don't have anyone, but you always have Him. Love. Love is an action word. He gave His only Son so that we could have everlasting life. Now that's love. That's love. Ask yourself, what is love to you? What is love to you? What does it mean? How do you show others that you love them? How are you displaying the love of Christ? Are you greeting others with a smile? And not just on the outside, but a smile in your heart. Just ask yourself as you go through your day, in your quiet time, think about love. Think about being intentional about how you love on others. I challenge you to do that as you go through the rest of this month, love month, heart month. Be intentional about how you love on others. Make a vow to be intentional about loving on others because that's what we want to do. We want to display the love of Christ. Do you need love under new management? Jesus says, hey, I'll be your manager. Ask yourself, be intentional. Be intentional. God loves us all the same. There's no difference, no matter what you have and others don't have. He loves us all equally. And that is the absolute truth. Love on each other. Be intentional about letting someone know. Somebody needs to know. We have to make a difference in other people's lives. Yes, life is lifing. Trust me, life is lifing. Just because I sit here and I'm smiling, that doesn't mean that I don't have trials and tribulations. That's not what that means. But I have a God that is bigger than any problem I could ever even imagine. So why would I be smiling? My trust is in Him. Because any and everything that I have or don't have is because He is my provider. He's my provider. He's my way maker. He's my all in all. So how can I not smile? He woke me up. Somebody didn't make it today. So how can I not smile? I have another opportunity today to be a better version of me, to be intentional about showing someone else the love of Christ. What is there not to smile about? He already did the thing. He made me in His image. So what? Yes. So smile is what I do because I'm smiling in my heart because I belong to Him. It's nothing too hard for Him. So whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're dealing with, dog died, cat died, boyfriend not acting right, husband not acting right, girlfriend not acting right, account in the negative, bills due, termination notice there. Trust Him. Give it to Him. Give it to Him. It says, lean not to thine own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him. So quit thinking you understand what's happening. Because I already told you, lean not to your own understanding. It's in the word. It's not me. It's what the word said. So you trying to figure out something that he not ready to reveal to you. He want to see if you going to trust him. Are you going to trust him with that termination notice that you have? Ask yourself, are you going to trust him? Because he loves you. And it says love never fails. Are you going to trust him? Those are things you have to ask yourself. Because I don't know what you're dealing with, but he knows. But when you're faced with that, when you faced with those termination notices, eviction notice, repo notice, you gonna trust him? Or you think you got it? You can figure it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he said. Trust him. Can you trust him when you can't see him? When you don't know? Will you trust him in the midst of that? Because he loves you. And see, when you love someone, you should trust them, right? You love your husband, you trust him. So why you can't trust Jesus? I'm just asking. I'm asking the questions that you may not want to ask yourself. But those are questions we have to sit and ask ourselves. Because the most important relationship that you'll ever have in your life is the relationship that you have with Christ. So it's important that we cultivate that relationship. So that means spending time with him. So you spend time with somebody, you get to know him, right? So the more time you spend with him, the more you'll trust him, the more you'll feel his presence, the more you'll know just how much he loves you. Love. It's just a little four-letter word, but it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Love is powerful because love in some instances can make us happy, and in some instances it can hurt us. Because sometimes in life, we love people that don't deserve our love in a sense. But we have to love people in spite of, because that's what Christ asks us to do. So even though someone may have hurt you, that said they loved you, but some people just don't understand love, unfortunately. And I know it's not an easy thing to do, is to love them anyway. But that's what we are to do, is to love them in spite of. Because what? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. So I challenge you as you go through your week to be intentional about loving on others. And not just when you're at church, but when you leave church. When you're in the grocery store, are you being kind? Because you never know who you're entertaining. Again, you just might make a difference in someone's life by being kind and showing them love. So it doesn't matter. Even when you drive through and they hand you your food and it's wrong, yes, sometimes because we're dealing with other stuff, so we're upset, we become angry, and so we snap at the person at the window. Show them love. That might be what they need. You don't know. That person might be at their wit's end. And so you, the love of Christ, comes through and makes a difference in their day. So again, as you go through the weekend, enjoying this beautiful weather here, just be in awe of what He's created. Be intentional about loving on someone else. Be intentional. So just remember, love on someone else. Be intentional about loving on others as you go through your week. We thank you so much for taking out this time to join us on today. And just know, love, love, love as you go through the week. Be intentional about loving on someone. We hope to see you next Saturday at the same time at 11 a.m. And tell someone, show someone, I intentionally love you. Dr. Kusamo, I intentionally love you. Yes, that's right. Sometimes it's just a smile. Make a difference in someone else's life. Be intentional about loving on others. And listen, we have lots of intentional love being shown on the Lonnie B and Company Network. This Thursday at 8 a.m. We have morning tea with Lonnie B at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You want to start off your week with the word. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Yes, Monday through Thursday. Then every third Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, we have a time of refreshing with Manny Cush. You don't want to miss that word. Then on the second and fourth Friday, we have Africa Restoration Army with Manny Cush. It's an awesome podcast. They be digging deep into the word. Every second and fourth Monday at 7 p.m., Believers Loving Upon Everyone podcast. You don't want to miss that. You do not want to miss these awesome things. Then on Thursdays, we have Motivation Moments Multivitamin B at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You don't want to miss that. It's just 30 minutes. And then on Sundays, Motivation Moments with Greg Bloomfield at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You do not want to miss these amazing podcasts. We appreciate your support. And if you want to sow into this ministry, you can Cash App or Zelle us. We appreciate any donations that you give. Again, the Lonnie B and Company Network, follow them on Instagram, Facebook. Yes, join us and follow us. And again, we thank you so much. And as you go through your week, make it a great day on purpose.